Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the spiritual home of Canadian motorsport. Welcome to the legendary, high-speed and unforgiving Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, better known to the world as Mosport. Last time out at Interlagos, we saw the final drop week shakeout, separating the contenders from the pretenders. Tonight, we have reached the ultimate hurdle. This is round 8 of the Radical Cup Canada Winter Series, our season finale. The safety net is gone, drops have officially been applied, and the final round cannot be dropped. Every single pass, every apex, and every mistake tonight will be etched into the final standings. A real-world Radical test drive is waiting for the champions. With 37 base points plus bonuses on the line tonight, the pressure is astronomical. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, and welcome to Pit Road Productions, or indeed to FPL Motorsports. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth today, the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner with Christian Hill for the production controls. Good evening, Reese.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, we are here at the final round. I can't believe we're here, and at an incredible circuit, honestly. Plenty of slipstreaming opportunities around Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but it's a short lap, so I think there's going to be quite a bit of chaos to deal with tonight, Zippy.
Oh, definitely, indeed it is. It certainly is a home track of BAS as well. But before we get into that, let's take a look indeed where we've been, and I'd say where we're going, but it is indeed the final round. We're going to be starting off here, we did at Silverstone, home of the British Grand Prix, heading over to Mexico City, one of the newest circuits in the iRacing service. Round 3 took us to Montreal, home of the Canadian Formula 1 circuit of Monza. Heading for round 4. Watkins Glen, a personal favourite of mine for round 5, with Donington Park, another personal favourite there. In for round 6, we're into Lagos last week for round 7. As you can see here, Racine Fazui having quite the turnout, able to get both wins there. But round 8, the finale, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the BIS home track of Mosport. Reese, tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, fast, flowing, unforgiving. Mosport is not for the faint of heart. The lap begins with the sweeping, high-speed drop into turn 1 and 2. A blind, plunging sequence that requires absolute commitment and perfect tyre temperature. From there, drivers navigate the tricky off-camber turn 3, the blind dip at 4, and the sharp dive of turn 5, leading them onto the legendary Mario Andretti straight. The back straight is the primary battleground tonight. It's a massive slipstream opportunity where you can easily go 2 or 3 wide, but it all funnels into the heavy braking zone of the turn 8 and 9 complex. If you misjudge a braking point there, your championship hopes will end up in the tyre barriers. Mosport demands immense bravery and absolute precision, Zippy.
Indeed it does, but let's take a look here at the event format. We're going to have 2 races this evening, one crowning evening. Race 1, qualifying is going to set the grid with pure, raw pace dictating the start. Race 2 is going to have that reversed. Well, at least the top 10 will be reversed. The fast drivers are thrown into the pack, and the hungry drivers will start out the front. I'm expecting fireworks. Certainly, indeed, it is a fixed setup as well. And in the main feature race, drivers will be needing to make a pit stop for fuel.
Yeah, that they will. It's going to be quite difficult to judge when the best time to come in for a pit stop is with that short lap and the high average speeds of the circuit. You come out in the wrong place behind traffic, it's certainly going to give you some trouble. And if you're one of our championship contenders, that will be forefront in your mind. Speaking of, how about the point standings? Championship maths. There's no more safety nets. The drop weeks are over. The standings you see are the standings that we race with. 37 points plus bonuses available every single position mattering. A DNF tonight is a death sentence for title aspirations, Zippy. So every point is a diamond. Protect them at all costs. How's the pro battle looking?
Well, in Pro, it is a David versus Goliath scenario. Racine Fazui has a commanding grip on the trophy with 187 points. He holds a 31-point advantage over Clay Morris, the newly crowned, ladies and gentlemen, BIS F1600 champion as well, and indeed the only driver to ever win 2 BIS series. So points there where due. Who sits currently at 156 points. Morris literally read my mind reading the script there. Indeed, he came back for 17 points last week to win the title. 37 is a much harder task with the 2 races tonight, though, and needs an absolute miracle, while Fazui simply needs to keep it clean and bring it home. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the engineer for Lima Racing. This guy is potent, and indeed, I wish Clay Morris the best of luck. Let's take a look at Am.
Yes, we have absolute box office chaos. This is a three-way winner-takes-all brawl. Jesse Lambert has vaulted to the top with 168 points, but right in his mirrors is Sebastian Day at 166 points, a mere 2-point gap. And do not count out Jacob Battar sitting in third with 165 points, just 3 points off the lead. Whoever crosses the line first out of these three is likely walking away with the championship. It's a crazy tight fight in Zippy. How about the teams?
Oh, the teams, ladies and gentlemen, Satellite Racing is looking to confidently close out the championship with 282 points, boasting a 41-point lead over Lima Racing Pro at 241. Certainly, there's two classes, one track, and one final night to crown our champions. This is round 8.
Yeah, that it is. Oh boy, this is going to be really tough indeed. But you know what? I think things have worked out perfectly for us up here in the broadcast booth, Zippy, because we just got that done in time for the end of qualifying, and we're ready for the grid. It's going to be Ryan Otto starting on pole position for the race here today, and Clay Morris, second in the championship, is going to be starting alongside him. Racine Fazui, championship leader, is going to be starting in third alongside Alex Ellis, with Christian Muniz and Cara Dudgeon on row number 3. Jesse Lambert is going to be the highest placed of our AM class cars, with Jared Dunkovic alongside him. Got Matt Gauthier and Joey Haynes rounding out our top 10. An absolute bumper field today.
Say impressive result there by Cara Dudgeon. Indeed, as we have a look here at P11, it's Marshall Crocker Jr., ladies and gentlemen, a previous BIS champion in the AM class. He's going to be alongside Diego Zuccarelli in 12th. Heading back to 13th, another previous champion, ladies and gentlemen, Zachary Buchanan makes it out this week. He's there in 13th alongside Dylan Rennie in 14th. Moving on a little bit further back in 15th, we've got Sebastian Day and indeed Matthew Crimmy alongside, rounding out 15th and 16th. 17th though, Mauricio Parada, he's back here with NP Racing, and indeed Michael Broomhead, your BIS founder, alongside in 18th. Rounding out the top 20 for Lima Racing Pro, it's going to be John Bemberley the 19th with Maxime Armand, the only person ever watched Pit Road Productions on the plane, rounding out your top 20.
Asad Nakatambayev is going to be starting 21st place. He's got Rich Hibbs alongside him. Then Tyler Scaralli and Mark Boyd keeping each other company on row number 12. Brady Clapham from Lima Racing has 25th place. Got his teammate Cedric O'Hyan for company on row number 13. And then Jean-Francois Larocque and Chad Payton, 27th and 28th. The top 30 cars rounded out by Robert Covey and Jonathan Pekazin.
Having a look a little bit further back, Harlan Goldburn's going to take 31st with Abri Shirastava. Actually surprised to see him back there. He's there in 32nd with Keenan Blades in 33rd, and John Painter, a real-world radical driver, ladies and gentlemen, he's there in 34th. Rick Boyd, I'm going to say he's probably the father of Mark Boyd. He's there in 35th. Ovidio Milos taking 36th. Looking a little bit further back there, Matthew Mailman for Lima Racing Jr. is going to be alongside Richard Morris in 38th. And even bigger grid than I was expecting, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Casamagia for Lima Racing Rookies. I believe he's a mechanic there at Lima. He's there in 39th with Wyatt Cormier rocking at 40th place.
Oh boy. Yeah, as I said, absolute bumper field. 40 cars going to be taking to the start here. Reasonably warm track conditions, 33 degrees Celsius out there, but the air temperature only 18. So it's a nice crisp day out there. Sim time is April the 22nd, just coming up to 2 p.m. Can't wait for this symphony of cars to make their way around the start-finish line here. There'll be a short run to turn 1, and I don't think there's going to be any clear overtaking opportunities until they get to this corner Moss. It's all going to be about jostling around in the order before then.
I think you're being too much of a coward, Reece. I think there is plenty of opportunities before then. You just have to absolutely send it. And indeed, a couple of drivers in this field will certainly be looking to do that. Certainly, Cara Dudgeon, impressive qualifying result for her today, up in P6. Previous Radical Academy champion, don't get me wrong, she absolutely slam dunked that. But I've got to say, in a strength of field such as this, to me, that is a bigger achievement getting P6 here. Indeed, I would love to see her make a podium in one of the races. Indeed, she's got the potential, but certainly keeping an eye through the grid here. Alex Ellis, I think, is going to be somebody to keep an eye on. He's going to be keen, he's going to be motivated, and indeed, Satellite Racing looking to try and take that team championship as well.
Yep, and it looks like they're very well poised to do that with their cars. Alex Ellis and Christian Muniz both solidly in the top 5. but Racine Fazui, all he has to do is finish either ahead or a couple of places behind Clay Morris, and he will have the driver's title in his hands. Let's see how things work out here for the first race of the day. 12 laps ahead of us, no pit stops required. It's going to be an out-and-out sprint to me, and Ryan Otto, who's been on an absolute tear of form recently, is going to be leading us away.
Yeah, he absolutely is indeed. His aggression here is not going to be put to much use. He's going to have to play the defensive here as we get the first lap of the sprint race underway. And already you can see there, Racine Fazui trying to go side by side there with indeed Clay Morris. Clay Morris able to hold on as they make their way around turn 1. Indeed, satellite racing cars looking to go on the inside of turn 2.
Yeah, Otto's skipping away already to a 0.6 of a second lead as the rest of the field tries their best to sort themselves out. No big incidents thus far through these opening corners, but there's always potential for some. We'll wait to see if anything happens in the background a shot, but it looks like a relatively clean start for basically everybody. And Otto getting away to a fantastic start, has to be said. He is switched on right away.
You say that Diego Zuccarelli has been falling back through the order, so I do believe something may have happened indeed to that car as he is falling back. But right now, Joey Haynes here, he's going alongside here with Matt Gauthier. Indeed, these two guys battling out for the top 10. Joey Haynes, a BIS veteran, and indeed very handy in a go-kart, ladies and gentlemen. Would love to see him behind the wheel of a real race car. But indeed, right now, he's got about 9 drivers ahead of him, all vying for position.
And he has side by side through the final corners as he tries his best to defend the position here. Zach Buchanan is going to be trying his best to hold on himself. Very close behind them. Mauricio Parada as well. Got plenty of racing to be done just outside the top 10. It looks like we've had a couple of drivers with problems. Abby Shrivastava has fallen down the order, towed back to pits. I also see Chad Payton and Keenan Blades falling down the order as well. So there's been some dramas in the midfield towards the back, but for the moment, I'm interested to note that Racine Fazui has fallen to 5th place. Christian Moniz and Alex Ellis making their moves on him. Oh, no!
Joey Haynes runs a little bit deep there in Moss corner. Indeed, has a little bit of a bump as he rejoins the track. That's Michael Broomhead right behind him alongside him. That's going to be Assad Nakadambaya, indeed, who's tucked in behind the likes of John Bemblin, a real-world racing driver, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he drives a real radical SR3 for Lima Racing. That's recently gone under some new team organisation, ladies and gentlemen. Tag 1 now being part of that as we see 3 wide, making the way around the right-hander. It's Broomhead, Bemblin, and Nakadambaya. And indeed, there's a little bit of contact there, but Broomhead able to come out on top. Rich Hibbs trailing at the back of the pack.
Matt Gauthier spun just ahead of these guys. Oh, and that has collected John Benvelid. That is, careful on the re-entry. Far from ideal. He's just trying to get up to speed on the outside of the final corner, so he ends up doing that. But Matt Gauthier going straight into pit lane. No surprise to see. Lot of damage there. He got spun around quite substantially there, and there's not much runoff in that part of the circuit. Not much room on the racetrack to avoid either.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate there. Let's take a look here at the replay. See, he just gets a little bit loose there, and this is where it all goes wrong. Bembley tries to go around the outside, doesn't really get the opportunity here. We got another camera angle here, comes around, and I think he had a little bit of a nudge there.
Yeah, he did. Was that Zuccarelli? I'm not entirely sure. I will go back and take a look.
The 310 car.
That is Sebastian Day. That's one of our M-Class contenders, no?
It is indeed. Naughty boy there. Definitely, I'm going to say, causing a collision. But right now, don't get me wrong, Sebastian Day has fallen down a little bit, actually. He was a little bit further up, indeed. But right now, Jesse Lambert currently in P7 overall and indeed leading the M-Class as Racine Fazui sets the fastest lap of the race. 1:12.176.
Yeah, no surprise to see Racine setting the fastest lap there. He's the championship leader for very good reason, but falling by the wayside ever so slightly. He's keeping up nice and close to the satellite cars, but he would ideally like to be a bit closer to Clay Morris just to make sure that he has the margin, the points in hand to take the title here today. As we said, a 31-point lead that he has to protect. And the further down he falls in the field, the narrower that gap will ultimately be. But Clay Morris really can't do much more than he's doing at the moment. He's under a lot of pressure from Alex Ellis as Ryan Otto, though they have made the gap up slightly, still in the lead by a long way.
Indeed, certainly Alex Ellis is definitely not going to cut him any slack. He's going to fight there. He is an out-and-out racer, real-world driver for VPX Motorsport there in a Cayman GT4, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly some interesting discussions we're hearing about the GT4 in the iRacing platform. But indeed, you see there his teammate just a couple of cars behind, Racine Bazooui between the two of them, though. I do wonder here if Alex can work together with Maniz and indeed give Racine Bazooui a little bit of a squeeze there for Lima Racing Pro.
Indeed. Nice and close through the opening corners. I've just gone back to see what happened to Jean-Francois Larocque, actually, who had to take a tow. Looks like he got big rear-end contact from Harlan Goulbourne, and Diego Zuccarelli appeared to have been involved in that as well. Some massive three-way contact across the start-finish line. So while the racing up the front has been very clean, it appears that further you go down the field, the worst of the time drivers are having bump draft for Alex Ellis on Clay Morris. As Asad Nikatabayev becomes the last or the most recent car to have to tow to pit lane. Here comes the move for the lead.
Well, I've got to say, I'm a little bit confused here. It looks like Alex Ellis is actually trying to cheer on Clay Morris a little bit there as he's managed to give him a bump drop and is now challenging for the lead. Ryan Otto have to put on the defensive moves again in the 153, but what can the 48 do? The Wearer Tools car, the Radical car, indeed, the Radical car, I guess, ladies and gentlemen. Clay Morris, indeed, sponsored by both of these guys there, and currently Ellis lurking there in third, but I have a feeling this is all strategy, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a plan in the long run, and indeed, it's not going to involve Clay Morris finishing ahead, but Alex Ellis is going to be looking for an outright race win.
Yeah, he needs to go for it here, get as many points as he can in the latter half of the season. He's had some great form recently as Alex Ellis, and Christian Maniz has been doing quite well himself, especially considering that he was the championship leader for most of the way in the F1600 championship that just wrapped up last week. Oh, breaking out of the slipstream there is Ryan Otto. He knows that he's under pressure. Got to be careful with weaving when the driver's coming up on you. Looks like a bit more pace for Clay Morris out of Moss, and Ellis is going to give him another bump here. This is very close quarters coming into turn 8. Ryan Otto is going to defend the lead once again, or at least try to contact. Yep, that was ever so slight. And Otto, oh, careful, don't hit him. Oh, just slots in there. Ooh, flashing the headlights. I think we know how he feels about that. That was really tight.
I got a feeling that Ryan Otto may have indeed at that particular moment, the turn of phrase would be spat the dummy out, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the Teddies were out the pram, and he's going to have to get them gathered up pretty quick now, as he's got Alex Ellis, number 50 car, right behind him, and indeed his teammate, the other satellite racing car in the field, is the 295 of Christian Maniz. Clay Morris, though, being able to give a half a second lead here at this point. This could be a golden opportunity. Racine Bazooui, though, back in fifth with Cara Dudgeon breathing down his neck. The Radical Academy superstar is indeed in contention here for a podium.
Yes, indeed. Racine Bazooui falling back to 5th place behind Christian Maniz. So I think it's time to get out the points spreadsheet and start doing some championship maths here, because yeah, Clay Morris, if he can stay in the lead here, he's going to be making up quite a bit of that points gap to Racine.
Indeed he is, and I gotta say, I do have to wonder if Racine is playing it strategically. I imagine, no doubt, he's an engineer. He's going to be good with numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Engineer is more than just passion and, go river theory. He's certainly going to have a plan worked out before we even got to this race, and I have a feeling that he's playing it strategically. But Cara Dudgeon, I have a feeling, could put a little bit of a dampener in that. Meanwhile, Jesse Lambert, he's currently leading the AMP class here in P7 overall, but about a second behind Cara Dudgeon, so won't be receiving any help from the slipstream.
Certainly not. Well, let's find our way through to turn 3 once again. Clay Morris, now that he's gotten into the lead, has started to jet away, but we know how strong the slipstream is in these cars. It can often be quite easy to jet up to the back of your rival. Racine Fazui starting to put some distance between himself and Kara Dudgeon here as he's on the back of Christian Moniz and looking at 2 satellite cars that he'd ideally like to make his way past. On board with Kara. She's always had a really good form in qualifying, hasn't she? Her race results haven't always reflected that, but it's good to see that she's managed to hang on to the back of the top 5 here. As you said, Zippy, she could be in contention for an overall podium here.
I would honestly be over the moon if she can pull it off. Don't get me wrong, Radical Academy, she absolutely dominated, but this to me is a bigger test. And indeed, like I've seen drivers where I'm like, okay, I've got this person down packed. I see Kara, I'm like, I don't stand a chance, and usually got me by at least 2 seconds a lap. And I am happy to admit that. You know, I see great things in this girl's future, and certainly I'd love to see her get a podium here. But indeed, if she wants that, she's going to have to pull a bit more out than just real raw pace. She's going to have to fight. She's going to have to throw in some moves and indeed try and find a way forward, another free position. She's currently back there in P6.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough. So let's see how the traction out of Moss treats everybody here. Tyres are well and truly up to temperature by this point, and only got a few laps remaining in the first race of the day. So have a look at this. See, keep an eye on the wheel here for Kara Dudgeon. The bumps down this Mario Andretti straightaway, they can really jostle you about, and you've got to be careful to ride those bumps properly as you're turning in at high speed into turn 8. Lovely, smooth steering inputs, and able to keep up with the top 5 who have compressed again here. It looks like there may be a pass in our near future, Zippy.
Yeah, definitely. I do see somebody starting to make an appearance here as Jesse Lambert now is going side by side here with Jarek Dunkovic. Now, we know that Dunkovic is definitely a key driver. He is not afraid of a scrap, and indeed, Jesse Lambert is going to have to try and stay with his pack, but don't be discounted, ladies and gentlemen. Marshall Crocker Jr., the previous AM champion, he's right there with him as well.
Here we go. This is looking very nice indeed. Lovely battle as they make their way out of turn 3. Crocker has always been quite the pacey one here. Jarek Dunkovic, though, managing to hold on to the front for the moment, but a big slide on the way into Moss, and he goes a little bit wide at the second apex. Oh, someone spun there. That looks to be Ovidio Milos.
Yeah, definitely not the race that they were looking for today. Indeed, started at the back of the grid. But here you go. Marshall Crocker Jr. now trying to split it down the middle. And that gets incredibly stuck. It's a squeeze. Contact. Dunkovic gets hit, but it's all over for Marshall Crocker Jr. Indeed, at that point, Mike Broomhead, not the ballerina. Crocker Jr. ended up going into quite the twirl there. As indeed, right behind him is Sebastian Day.
That's not ideal there for Marshall Crocker. Now he's going to have to try and assess the behavior of that car after that contact. It looks like he's gotten up to speed all right, but I don't know how the handling is going to be here. Onboard replay. Let's have a look at this. Oh my goodness, the slipstream is so powerful, but that was a very risky move that Crocker pulled off there. Splitting 3 wide is often quite brave, but I don't know if that was the right thing to do at that point. Didn't seem like there was enough space.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one, Reese. I think he had enough space, and I think he was going in a straight line. If anything, I'm not too sure if the guys around him were really expecting him to be there. And certainly, it could go either way. And myself, I would 100% have gone for that. The space was there for me, and I think he was maybe just squeezed a little bit. And indeed, I would definitely be looking to review that and review steering inputs. But thankfully, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not race control, especially Rob Campbell. I'm very thankful that I am not race control. But right now, we regain at the front of the field here as we got a battle going on for the lead. Clay Morris now trying to take it here from Ryan Otto. There's contact. Oh, no! That is the absolutely worst scenario that Morris could have. Gets a tank slapper going in the final turn. The 48, though, able to keep rolling. Contact there with Ryan Otto.
Yeah, that's a shame. Unfortunately, just a slight bit of contact spitting Morris into the wall there, and that is going to be, I think, the championship just about lost now for Clay Morris. He's fallen outside of the top 5. He's a long way down in 6th place. There's very little chance of regaining that position there. Christian Muniz and Alex Ellis are starting to trade spots for the podium places. Meanwhile, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Ryan Otto is going to try his best to run away with this one. It's going to be a huge move from the satellite cars here to try and catch up, and if they do, it may just have to be our move of the race. Another one of the Lima Racing cars there. I think that's Benvalid who was letting them past. He'd gotten some damage repaired. Here we go, Zippy. It's on, coming into the final corners.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Oh, no!
Fire! You buy one, you get one free. Both for the satellite racing cars. Absolutely yeeted Elf out of the corner. And you know what? I was going to say Clay Morris is without a doubt at times the most lucky, most jammy driver I've ever seen here in BIS. But that was pretty much the jackpot. Razim Fazui gifted second place that one. Kara Dodgen, though, is going to get a third. That's fantastic. But wow. I got to say, these guys... I'm sure they're going to be fine and they'll get over it, but that's definitely going to be an interesting discussion and interview later with Alex Ellis.
Yeah, that's going to be quite interesting indeed. Oh my goodness. Right when they needed to not run into each other, the satellite teammates unfortunately putting themselves both by the wayside. That was I think they'll be lucky that there was a bit of tarmac runoff there to gather them up. Ultimately, it's going to be Ellis and Muniz in 6th and 7th out of that.
I gotta say, that is definitely not what I expected to see. Certainly Ryan Otto there. He did get into a bit of contact earlier, but indeed managed to hold on to a race win. Razim Fazui, he really won the lottery ticket on that one. I have to say, you know, I do feel it's, I mean, he must have it slam dunk in the bag. We're going to try and get access to the points tables indeed. Reese Gardner, the master of math here when it comes to championship points. But I've got to say, Kara Dodgen there, able to make it up in the third place. For me, I'd say that's the biggest highlight of the race. Certainly that is a, you know, she's won the Radical Academy. She's got races there. But for me, that was a much bigger achievement. That's what's really resonating with me. Between that, the free wide week that we've seen, it's a tough call. I honestly feel that Kara is more significant in the grand scheme of things on that one.
Yeah, indeed. Kara has been waiting for a good result all season, and so I think she'll be very happy indeed for that one. Well, oh, okay, race one down. And, well, we'll only have one more green flag left in this season, Zippy. Now the title is on for Racine, taking advantage of the unfortunate contact between the satellite racing teammates. I gotta wonder. We'll have to keep an eye out for how things are going to go going forward, because all he needs to do at the moment is get another podium, and he'll have the title sealed up, especially if he finishes ahead of Clay Morris again.
Yeah, something I can see actually Razim Fazui has appeared in the interview waiting here, but I'm just going to see if we can get a quick replay here of what happened to the satellite racing cars. I'm very curious. I mean, they had pace, maybe a miscommunication here. Let's see if we can slow it down a little bit here. So we've got a bump draft going. Ryan Otto, pretty much at this point, is a sitting duck. Now you have to wonder, is there going to be a bit of contact just as they go over the hill? Yep.
Oh, yep.
On the brakes. So, that's Christian Muniz there. Gets on the brakes. I think Alex Ellis is quite expecting it. Muniz goes and absolutely yeets it off the wall. Ellis thankfully able to keep it rolling, but catastrophic result. Maybe a little bit more communication there, but I got to say, Kara Dodgen able to emerge best out there. Maybe we can see it from her point of view as well.
Yeah.
We'll
see an on board here. Let's oh, okay. So just an ever so slight bit of contact. It was only light. If we're looking for a move of the race, I reckon Racine Fazui staying out of it and being able to take advantage of that position. It wasn't really a move, so to speak, from Racine, but I think that's the closest we may get to one, because it feels like every time one of our leaders made a move, something ended up happening to put them by the wayside. Racine Fazui not getting into it with the satellite guys and taking advantage of their contact, I think, was essential for the title fight.
Yeah. Jay Ken's making me laugh in the chart. Satellites out of orbit. Well played, sir. I gotta agree with you on that one. But indeed, we should have that move of the race. Christian, if you'd like to cue it up, I'm going to back my comrade on this one. Certainly, Reese, I think he's got a good call there. And indeed, Racine Fazui could have potentially secured the championship with this maneuver.
Yeah, he was certainly helped with Clay Morris's contact with Ryan Otto earlier, but sometimes the best move is not making a move and letting your rivals get themselves out of the way. See, all he had to do was turn in for the last couple of corners and just cruise to the end there. He didn't end up on top, but ultimately second place with Clay Morris in fourth is going to extend the championship lead for Racine Fazui coming into the final race of the season. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. I think we should go through our results, Zippy.
Actually, that's a solid point. I may have got distracted by the absolute colossal show we had here at the end of that. Let's take a look here at the results here from the sprint race here at Mosport. There's a lot of here's in that sentence, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, forgive me. If you find a word you like, you use it. And indeed, that's ambitious. Average Shiva start there. He's currently leading the warm-up, I'm going to say. Here we go. Sprint results after 12 laps. Ryan Otto for Team ERC, he took the winner with Racine Fazui in second by about 5-6 tenths of a second. Cara Durgeon, her first time ever on the podium. Indeed, the only woman driver in the grid. Fair play to her. She's managed to get third place for Radical Academy Canada. Clay Morris there, Radical Canada East, he's there in fourth, with Jesse Lambert able to absolutely sneak on up there for Liam Racing Jr., taking the M-Class win and fifth place overall. Alex Ellis and Christian Muniz, they have to settle for sixth and seventh, with Jarek Dunkovic in eighth. Zachary Buchanan, former BIS champion, he's there in ninth, with Mauricio Parada in 10th.
Sebastian Day finishing in 11th place ahead of Marshall Crocker, who somehow managed to still finish P12 after his massive incident on the back stretch. Dylan Rennie and Matthew Crimmy, 13th and 14th. Rich Hibbs making his way up to 15th place, gaining a nice few spots there. Mark Boyd and Tyler Scarelli, 16th and 17th, with Ohayon, Armand, and Pekazin rounding out the top 20.
As we have a look here at 21st, ladies and gentlemen, Chad Payton took 21st with Diego Zuccarelli in 22nd. John Painter in 23rd, with Robert Kobe, the bearded legend himself, in 24th. Rick Boyd for Auto Eclectic Motorsports, he was there in 25th, with Joey Haynes having that unfortunate off track. He took 26th. Michael Broomhead getting into a collision there, free wide. He was 27th, with Brady Clapham, Real World Radical driver, in 28th. Paul Caxton Major, I believe one of the Lima Racing rookies there, he's there in 29th, with John Bemblid unfortunately having to sell for P30.
Yeah, 31st place in the end was Matt Gauthier, a lap down. Same for Ovidiu Milos and Asad Nakadabayev, with Keenan Blades and Jean-Francois Larocque joining them. 7 laps down for Matthew Mailman. He retired along with Harlan Goulbourne, Richard Morris, and Abby Shrivastava. Wyatt Cormier did not take to the start. So let's move forward then to the grid for the feature. This is going to be quite the interesting one. It is a reverse top 10. That means that Mauricio Parada is going to be starting on pole for this one. Zabi Zach Buchanan alongside him. Dunkovic and Muniz row 2. Ellis and Lambert row 3. Morris and Dudgeon row 4. And Racine Fazui and Ryan Otto rounding out the top 10. From there on back, it is where they finished in race 1. So probably no need to go through the rest of the grid. But that reverse top 10 is going to be crucial.
Yeah, definitely. I have a feeling here that Dunkovic could indeed be a force to be reckoned with. Himself and Zach Buchanan, quite assertive drivers, I think is a very fair description. And I have a feeling here that Dunkovic is going to be keen to find his way to the front of the pack. Indeed, will Buchanan. Parada, definitely no pushover either. Actually, I think the first time we saw him, he actually won the BIS Indy 500, if memory serves me correctly. By all means, going off memory here, but certainly his debut appearance in BIS, he won a race, which is, I think he's the only guy who's ever done it, ladies and gentlemen, other than, when we first started BIS. Indeed, certainly it doesn't happen very often indeed. But right now, I've got to say, this is going to be an absolute belter of a race. Certainly keeping an eye on the standings. We didn't see a lot of the mid-pack this last round. Certainly looking at the mid-pack here, I'm seeing that Mark Boyd and Cedric Ohayon, both these guys team leaders. It'll be interesting to see if these guys come together. Certainly they've done it in the real track. Are we going to see them do it here in Mosport for the FEL Motorsports Winter Series of Radical Cup Canada, brought to you by BIS. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Liam Constantine Racing, I'm scared. Fair play, sir. I am inclined to agree with you. I've got a fan on me, and between that and the anxiety of what's going on here, I've got a little bit of a twitch going, and certainly It's a good Twitch, ladies and gentlemen, and certainly I'm having a good time. I hope you are as well. If you haven't done it already, please hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you want to really help us out as well. We hit the 1,000 subs. Thank you all very much for that. Great Valentine's Day present, but we'd love it if you can share it. You know, we want to see this getting a little bit more traction. Certainly, next season, I would really love, a personal preference of mine, we get to talk to more drivers during the race and indeed see more driver camps, ladies and gentlemen. Something for the drivers to think about as well. Let's make them even more of a celebrity than they already are.
Absolutely. So, while we have time here on the formation lap, this is the situation for both championships. Wasim Fazui extending it by a few points. As long as he finishes ahead of Morris, he's got it. He only needs to be within a few positions of Morris in the end to take it. In the AM Championship, that result for Jesse Lambert, the 5th place, is massive for him. That has given him a clear advantage now over Sebastian Day. And as long as he stays ahead, he will likely take it. But now it's time for the start. Zippy Mauricio Parada going to lead us away with Zach Buchanan alongside.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to get ugly in just a second here, but... Oh dear, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Mauricio Parada, and who's that already snaking? That is indeed Parada, ladies and gentlemen. Zachary Buchanan here.
Oh no! Already!
Detour.
Yeah, with some help from behind. Looks to me like that was Jared Dunkovic who tapped him around there in turn 1. So Zachary Buchanan is going to try his best to hold on to that as one of the Lima cars goes a little bit wide through turn 2. Mauricio Parada still leading the way, but the battle has come to naught there. Zachary Buchanan off the track, and it looks like the same for Joey Haynes and Ovidio Milos as well.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate there. Who's that now? That must be Milos, I guess. But certainly, definitely unfortunate, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the damage there to the side pod. Thankfully, there is no price tag for sim racing damage here. And Liam Constantine saying, Jesse Lambert is my king. Well, that is a pretty solid bet, my friend. He's currently in 4th overall, and indeed P1 in the AM Class Championship. But right now, Mauricio Parada holding on. Alex Ellis and indeed teammate to himself, Christian Muniz. Both of these guys, real-world drivers, have made it into the podium spots. And indeed now, Alex Ellis, real-world driver for VPX Motorsports, has made his way to the front. But Mauricio Parada is not taking it lying down. And indeed, Jesse Lambert looking to get into the mix as well.
Yeah, Jesse has held on very nicely to these guys, now sitting there in P4 overall as the satellite cars try their best to make their way around Parada, who is the teammate to Asad Nikatabayev. Let's see what he can do to keep this defense up. He's run deep in turn 3, though, and that leaves the door wide open for Ellis to sweep through. Parada gets into the grass, and Christian Muniz and Jesse Lambert will fall through as well. Ryan Otto also caught the grass through turn 3 there. He'd fallen back ever so slightly, but still maintains P7. Now, the lead pack is as close as it ever was, and I genuinely don't know who's going to finish on top here.
Yeah, certainly, if you have a dice, if that's your kind of thing, I'd start rolling it right now. Start attaching some, get yourself a table drawn out, put some car numbers in there, and start throwing, because indeed this could go anywhere. It's Jesse Lambert now. He's not going to be satisfied here with a P3. He's going for the win. And indeed, if he wants to do that, he's not going to just take on 1, but 2 satellite racing cars, 2 real-world drivers. The young gun himself, the driver of the number 60, the Lima Racing prodigy, is looking to make his way for not just an AM Class win, but a final race win here at Mosport.
Yeah, and he could certainly get himself into that real-world Lima racing car. Remember, these drivers are fighting for a real-world test day in both the AM and Pro Class Championships. He will get a test in a real radical race car courtesy of Lima Racing, and really appreciate the gesture from those guys. They and FEL Motorsports coming together here to support this series. As another little catch of the grass there for Christian Muniz. That's going to give Alex Ellis about 0.7 of a second advantage coming into Moss, and Jesse Lambert could be getting further on to the overall podium here. But remember, we have Parada and Dunkovic, who are both down a couple of spots and looking to make a recovery. Elsewhere in the title fights, well, we see Racine Fazui in 6th place just behind these guys. Looks like he's playing it safe, and all the reason to do that because Clay Morris was involved in some shenanigans on lap 1 and is now down in 25th. I think that may have just sealed the Pro Class title.
Yeah, certainly. I was just taking a look here. Clay Morris has indeed fallen down through the order. It's starting to kind of buy him, though. He's managed to find his way miraculously up 13 spots. You got Richard Morris. He's up 12. Abri Shivastava, he's up 12 as well. Harlan Goldborn up 9 spots. A couple of drivers there getting caught in instance in that first lap, indeed. But I've got to say, this could be an absolute demonstration here of team tactics. Can Alex Ellis get a little bit of camaraderie here from Christian Muniz and indeed try and get his hand back towards that title? Or is it too much? Is Razim Vazui too high in the standings? He's currently there in P6, but right now we're keeping an eye on this battle here. That's Marshall Crocker Jr. in the plaid covered car, and indeed he's got the likes of Dylan Rennie right behind him and Cara Dudgeon currently there in P11 overall.
Nice fight between these three, and they're just in touch with the lead pack. All they need to do is nail the exit of Moss and they can stay in the slipstream, but for the moment, looks like Rich Hibbs is starting to catch up to them now. This is a long fight going from the lead all the way back to P12 as side by side now, Cara Dudgeon picking up the slipstream of Dylan Rennie, and round the outside into turn 8 is possible. Cara Dudgeon's going to take it there. It looks like Rennie may have just yielded slightly there. It's still only early stages in this final race of the season. 25 laps on the ticker with a compulsory pit stop. It's certainly going to mean you have to get into a bit more of an endurance mindset. Look after your car so you can be there at the end.
Indeed, certainly I would be looking to try and save a little bit of fuel here, but keep an eye out for the number 115 car. It's Rich Hibbs. He indeed is one of the founders of iRacing Control. We're going to have an endurance race with them. I believe it is, just going off memory, the 15th of March. Certainly, if you want to have a little bit of a stretch out there, by all means, let us know. We'll put you in contact with him. But certainly, he's definitely no stranger to strategy. That is why he does stuff like iRacing Control, ladies and gentlemen. He's thinking about the long game, and indeed, where he's at right now, I have a feeling he may be making a few moves here.
Oh!
Through the pit cycle.
Oh, no. Big incident there at Moss. Richard Morris, a lapped car, getting involved with Marshall Crocker at Moss. Now, I think if we're getting a replay of this, we should go back to turn 3 because Richard Morris almost got involved with our leaders as well. It is a 1-2 for Satellite Racing as they made their way past Jesse Lambert. And it looks like Jared Dunkovic has fallen back to 4th place. The shenanigans there through the back half of the circuit have spaced out our front battle somewhat.
Yeah, certainly as you see the two Satellite Racing cars doing a bit of bump draft in there. Hopefully it goes a little bit better. Oh dear.
All right, look at this. Look at this. Look at this re-entry.
Oh.
Those are our leaders right there, or the battle for 3rd place. And then Marshall Crocker coming up behind Morris here. And, well, it seems that he tries to fight him into Moss. I'm not sure why, but that is massive contact. And yeah, from my point of view, that's not on. You're a lapped car. You need to make sure that you're staying out of the way of the leaders when they're coming up to you.
Yeah, I think there may have been a little bit of an error there for sure. I don't know if it was intentional, but certainly I would be issuing that guy a black flag, certainly real world. Indeed, he is now towed to the pits, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, sometimes it is better to step out and hold composure, perhaps. But right now, we got a huge battle happening here. Jared Dunkovic is getting into it with Mauricio Parada. Indeed, Razim Vazui's getting in the mix as well, as we see free wide. And it's going to be the 58 of Razim Vazui on the outside. Now, last time we saw free wide round here, it didn't end in flowers, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it ended a little bit of a slide there from Vazui, able to keep hold of it, but indeed to go 2x2. Parada tucks in back behind us. Junkovic going at it with Otto. Sebastian Day lurking there in P8 overall.
Oh, yeah, this is a fantastic battle, and, you know, it's always nice to see when 3 wide works out. Racine Fazui took massive advantage of all of that. He managed to sweep around the outside of them. We already gave Racine the move of the race in race 1. He might get it 2 races in a row with a move like that.
Yeah, definitely fair play to him. Indeed, it was a high-risk move, and I think he's got it in the bag at this point. Certainly, you did it. Oh, yeah, that's detour there by Mauricio Parada. Yep, good call, Reese, good call. Indeed, but let's take a look here at some of the other battles we've got going on. Marshall Crocker Jr. looks like he's falling through the order as well. Something has indeed happened to last year's champion.
Yeah, last year's M-Class champion up into the Pro Class for this season, but it's been a really rough ride for Marshall Crocker. He's down in P18 now. And unfortunately, that is a further dive already with some big contact with a lapped car, and now has quite the work ahead of him here to make his way back up. So, 18 laps to go. We've seen a few drivers coming into the pit lane. Matt Gauthier, 5 laps ago, very early on, I think, for damage. Abby Shrivastava, Joey Haynes, and Chad Payton, all with what looks like regular service on their pit stops. We haven't seen anybody from the front of the field make their way in for a scheduled stop yet. You'll probably expect them to start coming in once they get past around lap 10.
Yeah, certainly Reese Gardner, the master of the pit strategy. But right now, random fact about Marshall Crocker. I do believe he's involved in radio, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly, if you didn't know that, there you go. Keep an eye out on the, well, I guess keep an ear out if you're listening to the your local radio. I'm not sure which station it is he's going to be working with, but indeed, looking forward to seeing that. It's definitely one of the young prodigies, and certainly somebody who I'm damn proud of here to see, to know this guy. He's a young gentleman at heart. Indeed, his parents very, very supportive as well. Even if he does let us pronounce his last name incorrectly for over 2 years. Assad Nikarnbayev, ladies and gentlemen, and he's going to smile when he watches that back. He's I do wonder if he just heard me. He's lit up like a Christmas. Assad, if you can hear me, do something very obvious so we know. Certainly.
Let's let him get through this battle first, Zippy.
He's talented. He can multitask. Indeed, he's got a little bit of work to do. We'll give him some credit where due, as I believe that's Crocker Jr. ahead of him, alongside him. Indeed, Assad Nikarnbayev. He looks so relaxed when he does it, I gotta say. But keep an eye out for this guy. We actually watched him racing a button willow the other day. First race I watched him in, he got a third position, dropped back a little bit, and then made a hell of a recovery. And then the race he went out on the Sunday, he won, ladies and gentlemen. He won his race in a spec race of Ford and beat former champions. Fair play there, as we see that is Maxime Armand over in the grass.
Yeah, that's going to be a freebie there for Assad and pretty much everyone around him there. Armand will recover around about 23rd, 24th position. Yeah, it looks like 23rd for him now. Potentially he caught the grass on the outside of turn 2. Very easy to do. But keeping an eye here on Assad. Let's see what he can do to find his way past Mark Boyd. Boyd, the only car in the field, still in the position he started in. Oh, yep, it's on now. Jesse Lambert and Racine Fazui currently leading Ryan Otto and Jarrett Dunkovic. This could be one of the places where the move of the race is potentially going to happen. You also notice that Christian Muniz has fallen back from Alex Ellis. It happened off camera. He ended up locking up into Moss and running wide. So that has spaced out the battle for the lead somewhat. We've got to make these guys have to make sure that they work together, though, to try and catch up to him. There's still a lot of potential for big points here.
Well, certainly one thing that did definitely enter my mind is both of these drivers here in P3 and P4 are racing for Lima, and indeed I have a feeling with Racine, he's got this in the back. He can take a P4. Right now, this is where the team game really comes into play. Look at it right now. Satellite Racing, P1, P2. Lima Racing, P3, P4. And indeed, looks like the Pro Class champion is currently sat there in P4. He can protect Lambert. Indeed, not that he really needs it at this point. Sebastian Day is currently back there in P8. But if I remember correctly here, Reese, and indeed I'm pretty sure I'm correct here entirely, it is done by outright position. So this could be a huge opportunity for Jesse Lambert. Indeed, Racine could be carrying, but Ryan Otto is not having any of it. He makes a pass right past Racine Fazui, and now he's looking to try and take another chunk out of Lima and make his way past the one and only. It was to Jesse Lambert.
Yeah, I remember we were talking to Racine after last round, and he wasn't the biggest fan of Mosport. He's just looking to survive this one, and he's done a really good job of it thus far, managing to grab a second, and thus far sitting in P5. So it looks like he's doing just enough to secure the title from here, with Clay Morris now having just taken his scheduled pit stop, coming out in 24th place. There's pit stops from Parada, Nikarnbayev, and Crocker. Maxime Armand also making his way into pit lane. So we're steadily seeing the field begin to get their pit cycle out of the way.
Yeah, certainly, and indeed, let's keep an eye out as well. Brady Clapham in the number 77 there. It looks like he's getting into it here with Matthew Crimmy as well, if I'm not mistaken. And certainly Clapham, he's got incredible pace here. And indeed, we've seen him in the real world. He has gone and he has won podiums at Sebring, currently coached by Connor Bell, who, if you're not familiar with, ladies and gentlemen, one of the managers there at the Almeida Racing Academy. And an incredibly potent driver in NASCAR Canada as well. Certainly keep an eye out for him, especially as he's going to be a Victoria Day place. Oh dear.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, Sydney. Ryan Otto off the circuit, and it looks like Jarrett Dunkovic has done the same thing in the final couple of corners. There was contact between Otto and Lambert. So very quickly get the replay of that one. Thanks very much, Christian. Right on the money here. Side by side on the way into turn 8. Lambert was trying his best to defend the inside. Unfortunately, at these high speeds, it can be easier than you think to make contact. And it was only slight in the end, but it was enough to send Jesse Lambert around. To send Ryan Otto around, sorry. And then trying to take avoiding action was Jarrett Dunkovic, and he was greeted with a big helping of gravel.
I gotta say that is an excellent recovery by Otto. He caught that beautifully. Certainly the Radical, the SR10, can be a little bit of a handful once it does overstep that line, and indeed he handled that with perfection. Really impressed.
Yeah, I think he made the best of a bad situation there. Well, more pit stops have come in now. Mauricio Parada is the leader of the cars that have pitted already. Dunkovic and Hibbs making their way into the pits on that lap, and no surprise for Dunkovic, finding his way into the gravel trap. Might as well get your pit stop out of the way. So that's all done there. It looks like almost everyone from 14th place back, aside from Harland Goulbourne and Matthew Mailman, have found their way into pit lane. Our top 13, meanwhile, yet to make their way in. Keeping an eye on Mark Boyd and Matthew Crimmy here, battling for the last position in the top 10 on track as Diego Zuccarelli comes into the pits behind them. Be interesting to see where these guys come out in the end. They're going long, and sometimes that can be an advantage.
Yeah, certainly, it's so confusing because by logic to me, the longer you're out, the lighter the car is, the less fuel you're going to take. It seems to be the winning strategy, you'd think, but often the undercut has so much merit, and indeed, myself, I wonder more so about track position, but certainly something to keep in mind about Mark Boyd as well. He is a real-world Radical driver, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's a VIS veteran, and not only that, he's leader of Auto Eclectic as well, so himself, you've got Steven Sutherland involved, Alan Martin, I believe, drives for them as well. And indeed, they just picked up a Formula B as well. And I believe Kenny Reedman has also run it with Auto Eclectic. So certainly keep an eye on this guy. I've raced him in the sim. He's definitely no slouch. He's honest, he's fair, but he is definitely not going to give it to you for free. And indeed, it looks like the driver behind him, Matthew Crimmy, is finding that out the hard way.
Into the pits then comes Mark Boyd, and looks like he'll be following Cara Dudgeon in there as Rich Hibbs is alongside Dunkovic side by side. Both of these cars have already come into the pit lane. Hibbs is going to yield on the way into turn 8. So battle worked out for now. So Dudgeon's pit stop, 11.9 seconds. That is a few seconds longer than we're expecting here. Cara, I think it's been a semi-regular occurrence for Cara that when the pit stop comes around, she doesn't quite have all of her settings sorted out and maybe takes tires by accident. That could explain why her pit stop is longer. So she's going to fall outside of the battle for the top 5 as a result of that, I think.
Yeah, certainly as well. I can see that she took her fast repair as well, so must have picked up a little bit of damage somewhere indeed. But currently the fastest driver, indeed the leading driver of all of those who are pit here is Dunkovic now, having to face the mighty wrath of Richard Hibbs, leader of iRace Control.
Indeed. Remember on the 15th of March we'll be broadcasting the iRace Control 3-hour Enduro to showcase the software that Rich Hibbs has helped create and market. It's a really nice piece of software indeed, but Hibbs isn't going to be thinking about that at the moment. He's still thinking about getting past Jarrett Dunkovic, and Mauricio Parada's not too far ahead of these guys either. Has Parada just lost some time there? I'm not entirely sure. We'll be seeing, for the moment, Brady Clapham come out of pit lane just alongside these guys. And looking at the lap times, it looks like Parada not that much slower than Dunkovic and Hibbs. So I think they're just catching him up bit by bit, as that's very deep in turn 2 for Dunkovic. Fortunately, he gathers it up.
Yeah, certainly, and indeed, we've got a couple of battles happening as well. It looks like we're going to see a Lima on Lima Racing battle for P18. It's going to be John Bemblin versus Cedric O'Hine. Indeed, Lima Racing under it's huge news, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I believe Race Canada published it as well. Pole Position might have published it. If you can read French, certainly check them out as well. I had the pleasure of meeting the photographer or indeed the editor for them when they came out to Atlanta Motorsport Park. But certainly this is an opportunity that these guys are not often going to get. As on the real racetrack, obviously they're going to have to be a little bit more careful racing against each other. They don't want to have any real life collisions. But certainly these two guys, Cedric O'Hyan and John Benvelin, both potent drivers here in BIS, and certainly Cedric running in the Masters class here in the FPL Motorsports Radical Cup Canada, indeed, and he has got multiple podiums. Certainly very proud of him as well. But are we going to see here as Ryan Otto, it looks like he's stuck up right behind him.
Yeah, big collaboration between Lima Racing and Alex Tagliani, former IndyCar driver, as they make their way through Moss. It seems Harlan Goulbourne spun on the outside there, not ideal. But yeah, the big news you're referring to recently, yeah, the tag team collaborating with Lima Racing for the upcoming season of Radical Cup Canada, and Alex Tagliani going to be taking some drives in the Real World Series. We did see Mr. Tagliani at round 1 of this esports season in Mexico City. Haven't seen him since, though. Hopefully, next time Radical Cup Canada Winter Series comes around, we'll see him take a few more races under his belt. Pit stops for our leaders. Alex Ellis and Christian Muniz to Satellite Racing have jumped in. Sebastian Day and Tyler Scaralli also finding their way into the pit lane. That leaves Lambert and Fuzui here as our current race leaders, with Ryan Otto not too far back. It looks like John Benvelin has towed back to pit lane in the meantime. So that 18th place battle with his teammate Cedric O'Hyan is now over.
But certainly as well, if you want to go see some, go do some go-kart, indeed, go do some Axphone as well. And I believe they got some go-karts, Axphone, and indeed arcade games. By all means, check out Tag Live, ladies and gentlemen. That is actually, that's Alex Tagliani, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or Tag Entertainment. That's his business as well, ladies and gentlemen. So by all means, show a bit of support, head out there and have some fun.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to have real world legends involved here, as that is a big move up the inside there from Ryan Otto. My goodness, I wasn't expecting him to go for that, but Racine Fuzui and Jesse Lambert let him have it. All three of them are going to come into the pit lane. That was a crucial move for Ryan Otto there.
Yeah, indeed. We have got an update here from Mike Broomhead that Lambert was 4 points ahead going into this race, not including the bonus. It looks like Lambert there, he literally needs to finish clean, as yeah, definitely I'm going to agree with you on that one, Reese. But right now you see here Jesse Lambert currently leading the race, ladies and gentlemen. Racine Fuzui in there in the pits room as Alex Ellis retakes the lead.
Indeed he does, and out of the pit lane they will come. Otto with a great pit stop, 6.7 seconds, and able to go through the pit lane 0.8 of a second faster than Racine Fuzui. Fantastic stuff. Well, now we find our way to the end stages of this race, Sippy. Everyone has completed their required pit service, and Ryan Otto getting himself potentially a podium out of that move, as we're on board here with Diego Zuccarelli. He's battling at the moment a bit further down the field. Mark Boyd behind him. Cedric O'Hyan not too far ahead. It's only a matter of about 0.7 of a second.
Well, we have got another points update for you here, ladies and gentlemen. With 3 points between first and second, Day needs to overtake Lambert for a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, you see that right now, there is about 4.5 seconds between them. The driver of the 310, he's going to have to find some magical pixie dust, or indeed a little bit more pace there if he wants to try and get a chance at this real-world drive here. I do wish him the best of luck, but certainly we do know that Jesse Lambert has been in training with the Lima Racing guys. This could be the opportunity he's been looking for, but Sebastian Day definitely not out of the running yet.
No, certainly not. Unfortunately, there seems to be about 4.5 seconds between Lambert and Day as things stand. So Sebastian needs to put on some incredible drives to have any chance there. Looking a bit further forward here at the 26 of Diego Zuccarelli. He'll have O'Hyan now behind him. Mark Boyd ending up with his battle continuing here. So 6.5 laps to go for our leaders, or near enough. We are in those end stages, and Alex Ellis has the biggest advantage of all, 3.7 seconds ahead of his teammate Christian Muniz. Our top two all alone and on the track. Otto and Fuzui will still be battling over third place. Tyler Scaralli and Marshall Crock are falling down the order, and that's why.
And definitely don't discount Jared Dunkovich there to try and make a move. I do have to wonder though, Clay Morris, he's currently there in P9, ladies and gentlemen. I do have to wonder if he can pull it out, if the gap is indeed too much there. As Marshall Coffey Jr. now fighting back against Jared Dunkovich.
All right, here we go. Nice side by side here as they make their way through the final corners. The 77 of Brady Clapham then gets his way into the battle. Racine Fazui taking the fastest lap of the race in the meantime. That will likely be another point on the board for him as he gets ever closer to getting both hands on that Pro Class Drivers title. So, keeping our eyes peeled on these battles. Looks like we'll be having quite a few drivers in the top 10 involved in a fight. Otto and Fazui are together. Day and Dudgeon are together. Mauricio Parada and Clay Morris are together for P8. And then we have Crocker, Dunkovich and Clapham battling like they are here into Moss. This is for the last position in the top 10. They're racing like it's for the lead.
Indeed, honestly, this is one of the things I love about BIS, and indeed a lot of the leagues here that we have broadcast on Pit Road, I can't even say our own business name, Pit Road Productions, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a busy couple of days, indeed. Sleep is overrated, apparently, as Jared Dunkovich seems to be having the same kind of opinion here. He's not going for the move. He's actually giving Marshall Cocker Jr. a little bit of a bump draft. Now, this isn't something that we've seen too much here in the BIS Radical Cup Canada with FEL Motorsports. We've not seen it much this season until today. Certainly in Mosport, we saw the satellite racing guys, and honestly, sorry, fellas, making a little bit of a hash of it at the conclusion of the sprint race. But certainly in race 2, indeed, this one, we saw him doing it earlier, is indeed to be a little bit more successful. With Jared Dunkovich now applying the pressure, it looks like himself and Marshall Cocker Jr. very much trying to catch up to the back of Clay Morris, who's about 3 seconds ahead.
Well, with 4.5 laps remaining for these guys, they don't have much time to make up that gap. They would need about a second a lap to really get into it with them. So, a lot to think about there. For the moment, the side-by-side is going to continue here between Fazui and Otto, the battle for P3. You know, I've said this before, Zippy, I'll say it again. I'm really impressed with Ryan Otto's form at the end of the season here. I wasn't expecting him to be this consistent in his fighting for podiums, but yeah, he's done a lot to impress me in the last few rounds.
I would definitely agree with that. Certainly we've had drivers come in where we've seen them and they've had pace, but they've just been a little bit too aggressive out of the box. I think Ryan Otto was one of them. Certainly Assad Nakad Bayev was another indeed. Both of these drivers have calmed it down a little bit here. Don't get me wrong, they're still potent. They're still indeed very lethal weapons here on the racetrack without having Mel Gibson, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong, he's getting old now. But, you know, it's translating into such better results here. And indeed, look at Ryan Otto. He's currently in P4. Which, you know what, people might say, oh, he's off the podium, but look who's ahead of him. Ladies and gentlemen, Racine Fazui, one of the engineers here, and indeed a former BIS champion. He's there in P3, and not only that, he's about 8,000 iRank. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is in the Big Hitters Club. Certainly Christian Muniz and Alex Ellis, both of these real-world racing drivers, so absolutely fair play to him. Ryan Otto has got absolutely nothing to be disappointed with himself about.
Absolutely. Clay Morris here now down to, or up to P9 after, we believe, starting from pit lane in this race. Going to potentially make the move on Mauricio Parada for P8. And it's all Clay Morris can really do to make his way past Parada. I don't think any other positions are going to come to him with just 3 laps remaining when they cross the line next. Round the outside of turn 8, and that is a beautiful move from Morris. But he is a few positions behind Racine Fazui, and so I think the championship win is just about out of his reach. Racine finishing on the podium will likely take the pro title from here, but it's not over till the checkered flag waves. We'll have to wait and see what Morris can try and pull out here.
But certainly the whole time these guys have been battling, Marshall Cocker Jr. and Jared Dunkovich, that gap was 2.5 seconds, and much to our surprise, they've closed it down. It's now down to about 1.1 second. Cocker Jr. here is going to be in the draft very shortly. He just needs about another 1/10 of a second. If he gets a good exit out of Sterling Corner, indeed, he could be very much in that draft. Well, Moss Corner, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting myself confused. Sterling Moss Corner, you knew what I meant. Certainly just going around the house, but not quite through the front door. And indeed, right now, Dunkovich there, potentially able to give him a bit of a bump draft, could really, really throw a mix in it at the close of this race.
Yes, well, yeah, I suppose you're still correct, Zippy. Moss Corner is named for Sterling Moss. He was responsible for the ultimate final design of the corner. He was the one who suggested that the second apex be tightened. That was a lot of momentum there from Jarrett Dunkovic. Could be getting into the top 10 on Marshall Crocker if he plays his cards right, but it seems for the moment they're still working together. Morris and Parada are not too far ahead of them. Let's compare lap times across the line here. 112.2 for Clay Morris, 112.95, sorry, for Parada. Crocker and Dunkovic, they didn't really gain on them that time, but they had made some gains on the last few laps, so there's still potential for a top 9, maybe top 8 for both of these drivers.
Yeah, another battle to keep an eye on that's happening just behind him as well. Brady Clapham currently leading himself, Nikardon Bayev, and indeed Richard Hibbs. These three guys separated by less than 6-7 tenths of a second between them. But I've got to wonder here, is Dunkovic going to be able to help Crocker Jr. indeed get up there to the mix with Mauricio Parada, indeed Clay Morris, who's almost broken the draft there on the driver of the 81.
There was another car off there at Moss. I'm not entirely sure who that was. Might have been Harlan Goulbourne. Yeah. Unfortunate there for Haaland as the bump draft is back on, and the final lap, it appears, has begun for Alex Ellis, who's way out in the lead. The bump draft continues for the battle between Dunkovic and Crocker, and it looks like they are just on the verge of being within a second of Mauricio Parada, who seems to have fallen back from Clay Morris here. White flag in the air. Let's go around one more time.
Yeah, Clay Morris is absolutely sending it right now. He did a 112.1, which, while it wasn't the fastest lap on the track, it was certainly in the top 5 kind of pace here. Last lap here, actually the quickest one I'm seeing was actually Razim Vazou, a 111.738. His personal best being a 111.711. Definitely, for lack of better words, he's hauling anchor, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, as battles happening throughout. But right now, Alex Ellis, it's going to be a good way to win the season. Don't get me wrong, he's not going to get the pro class win, but indeed, definitely a solid, well-earned result himself there. Satellite Racing leader, and indeed, able to take the race win here as he brings it round the final couple of corners. Ladies and gentlemen, a BIS veteran as well, an absolute gentleman, a scholar, and indeed an engineer and a real-world racing driver as well. Check out Ellis Engineering. He takes the race win here in the main feature race of the final round, round 8 here, for the Radical Cup Canada BIS Winter Series with FEL Motorsports.
And Racine Fazui across the line in third place is going to be your pro class champion as the fight comes to a head between Dunkovic and Crocker for 10th place, and that's going to be Dunkovic ahead in the final corner, grabbing the top 10 in style. Very nicely done indeed. But I mean, we have one championship that is clearly wrapped up now. Racine Fazui, let's give him his dues. Third place. I mean, he wasn't expecting to get particularly good results at this round. He was just trying to protect that championship lead. He managed to get 2 podiums out of this and takes the championship in style. So after winning the previous season's championship as well, he's going to join Clay Morris as the second 2-time BIS champion.
Yeah, certainly fair play to him indeed. He did the work earlier on, and certainly would that be a real radical right now? Rob Burgess said, well, Mauricio Parada. Can we get a replay of that? That was it's one of those things. So it's a mixed opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, certainly at the end of a season, if you want to have a little bit of shenanigans, and I've done some broadcasts where you would indeed, you'd stick around just for the shenanigans. We're going to get to Mauricio Parada, for lack of better words, absolutely yeet it in a second here. Frankly, Racine Fazui able to dodge that bullet as, wait for it. Whoop.
Wow. Perfect angle right there. Magnificent stuff. All right, I think it's time for us to highlight our move of the race, and I don't think there was any further debate after catching this move. It was Ryan Otto making the move on Racine Fazui and Jesse Lambert coming into the final couple of corners. Otto would ultimately finish behind Fazui in the end, but this was a stylish way to take 2 positions into turn 8, and full credit to Ryan Otto. As I said before, his late season form has been nothing short of spectacular, and he made that move at exactly the right time coming into the pits.
Certainly, I'm just glad he didn't make it on the pit entrance. We know what happens when I try and pronounce that, and indeed it has gone wrong in the past. But before we get too excited, let's go over the main results here for the feature race, the final round of the BIS Radical Cup Canada with FEL Motorsports. Took me a second there, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. Brain fart. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time this season. Alex Ellis for Satellite Racing takes the final win with Christian Muniz in second. Razim Fazui, very likely looking like the Pro Class champion for a second season running. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think that you can beat him, by all means, come on down and give it a go. We look forward to having you on board. Ryan Otto took fourth with Jesse Lambert in fifth. Keep an eye on that. We may have an announcement regarding the AM Class Championship very soon. Mike Broomhead doing some work behind the scenes. Cara Dodgen, another solid result by her for Radical Academy Canada. She's there in sixth with Sebastian Day in seventh. Clay Morris takes eighth, which is absolutely incredible considering he started from the pit lane. With Mauricio Parada, the best gymnastics we've seen here at Mosport by all means. He's there in ninth with Jarrett Dunkovic rounding out your top 10.
Absolutely. In 11th place, Marshall Crocker Jr. He just lost that to Jarrett Dunkovic in the final corner of the race. Brady Clapham up 16 places to P12, an impressive drive. Richard Hibbs behind him, P13. Asad Nakatambayev manages to make 19 positions up the field to 14th. That is the hard charger for sure. Tyler Scarelli and Diego Zuccarelli round out your top 16, and they were the last real battle on the lead lap with Mark Boyd, Cedric O'Hyan, and Matthew Crimmy also finishing on the lead lap. Matt Gauthier in 20th, and the first car a lap down.
As we have a look here at 21st, it was Joey Haynes for AV Esports with Abri Shivastava. He ended up a few positions there. He was in 22nd. Jean-Francois Laroque took 23rd with Keenan Blades in 24th. Matthew Mailman is in 25th with Chad Payton in 26th. Maxime Armand, again, the only driver who's ever watched Pit Road Productions on a plane, in 27th. Harlan Goldburn took 28th with John Bemblid sadly back there in 29th with Jonathan Picazan rounding out your top 30.
And in 31st place, we are well and truly into retirement territory now. Dylan Rennie wasn't able to make it past the halfway point very far. Neither did Rick Boyd or Robert Covey. Paul Casamajor out early, as was Ovidio Milos, Richard Morris, Michael Broomhead, Zach Buchanan, John Painter, and Wyatt Cormier. Painter, Cormier, and Buchanan did not take to the start, I believe, or at least Buchanan did, but he exited quite quickly after getting sent off the track in the first corner. Real shame for Zach. He was none too impressed with how it worked out for him. But we'll turn our attention back to the front of the field, Zippy, because I understand you have Alex Ellis ready for a chat, the final race winner of the season.
Well, Alex, I'm going to ask you, would you like to start on the high or the low of your race evening today?
Let's get the low out of the way. I'm sorry.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt, he knows what's coming. So certainly Satellite Racing looking to be in a very dominant position. And near the close of the sprint race, I got to wonder, Alex, you may have been a little bit of lack of communication there. I'd love to know what kind of dialogue was going on when you two guys pretty much showboated around the closing stages of the track and indeed fell back a little bit in position. Entertainment, yes, but definitely not what you had in mind. How did the communication go down?
Yeah, so we were we knew we were going to work together to try and get past Ryan, but then I locked up a tiny bit into turn 3 and it kind of spoiled everything because then we were a little bit too far back on the back straight. As we were pulling up, I was looking at the gaps and I was debating whether I'd push Christian or pull out and go by him. And at the last second, I basically told him on the radio, I'm going to push. So I pushed him. And then we were reaching Ryan just before turn in for 8, and I thought that we had enough to really send it around the outside and roll the extra speed. And I just got caught off guard with where Christian got on the brake pedal and got into the back of him. And yeah, the forbidden move. So obviously sorry to Christian. It sucks to take out your teammate, but luckily we were both able to finish and then recover well for the final.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that it was in a virtual race, not a real one there. But moving on there, Alex, certainly you're both yourself and a Christian, real-world racing drivers. Yourself for VPX Motorsport, driving that Cayman GT4. Christian Muniz stepping into the Formula 1600 as well. But certainly a good way to end, ladies and gentlemen, taking the feature race when certainly, Alex, we've seen you do it before. You were, for a long while, you were the GOAT here at BIS, and indeed looks like you had some new challenges here with Racine Vazuri, but this time able to get the better of him here at Mosport. Now, certainly, I'd say if anything, it would be Racine's home track, yourself a little bit further away, but I gotta say, talk us about some of your highlights here through the season.
So yeah, no, it was a really, really fun season. Some really good racing up close at the front of the field. Christian, Clay, Racine, Ryan, everyone in that mix. We had some really good fun racing, and these cars, they really set up good racing as well with the powerful draft. It's difficult to break away. So it was just really fun. Lots of close racing to remember. Unfortunately, a few too many incidents, in my opinion, on my end. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. It's tough to keep up with these kids when you have kids yourself. But trying my best here as the vet.
Well, certainly, you know what, I think you've made some very valid points there. There is definitely, I'd say kids is maybe a little bit a harsh way for it. We'll say there is some young prodigies coming through. We're going to speak to a couple of them very shortly. Certainly, Carol Dudgeon, without a doubt, definitely looking forward to speak to her. Phenomenal result. But certainly, Alex, yourself being a seasoned driver here, and certainly recognizing some of the younger drivers we got here in the mix. I want to know your opinion. Who do you think who do you think we're going to see making their way into a real car and indeed potentially going the furthest here, having to race them alongside in the sim?
Racine Fazui. Like, get the guy in a car. Yeah, everyone involved in Radical, pay attention when he tests. Racine, do what you do, and I want to see him race one day because he's just he's too good, he's too knowledgeable, and he's too nice of a guy to not be uh, out there mixing it up in the real world and enjoying how awesome it is to compete in real life. Like it's wild how talented some of these sim racers are, and I think he's right up at the top of the list even globally. So definitely want to see Racine in a car.
Well, that's definitely a very valid conclusion. But Alex, before we let you go, is there anybody else you'd like to shout out for indeed not just this race, but indeed for the entire season?
Yeah, obviously you guys in the booth, you did a great job. I really enjoyed watching back all the races and listening to your calls. Both Daniel and Reese, you had some pretty funny call outs throughout the season. So thanks to you guys for putting on a great show. Thanks to BIS and all the series sponsors for putting on the championship, and obviously as always Satellite Racing. And my teammate Christian, we kind of went through this championship together on the radio for every race. So it was nice to experience it together. So thanks to Christian as well.
Certainly, Alex, you've been an absolute gentleman and a scholar indeed. It's been an absolute pleasure having you back here in BIS. And certainly, if you haven't watched your Instagram thing, Alex, just give that a shout out. Certainly, give
Yeah,
Alex Ellis a cheer. He puts videos on YouTube. Do your social media bit because definitely entertaining to watch, and you do also do technical videos as well. Just give that a little bit of a blurb here, Alex. I know you know it off the top of your head.
yeah. So my Instagram is at AlexEllis38. Lots of cool stuff, especially from the last season in the GT4 and GT4 America on there. Some cool onboards with racecraft and saves and stuff like that. And then same thing with my YouTube channel. That's Alex Ellis 5. Lots of good content on there, and hopefully more to come.
Oh, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, keep an eye on that guy. Very, very potent driver in the sim, and indeed, very potent in real life as well in that Cayman GT4. Alex, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be catching up with you shortly. If you do want to hang around, just mute your mic. We're going to have a chat to a few more drivers, but by all means, feel free to hang around in the booth. Reese, I understand you've been able to catch up here with Christian Maniz.
I have indeed. We can get the other side of that race one incident between the satellite racing teammates. But Christian, still a fantastic final round for you, managing to get the 1-2 in the final race. Certainly a big grab for satellite racing there.
Yeah, it was such a good time today. The way Mosport races, so unpredictable. You don't know who's gonna win until the last lap if everybody's together. So all in all, it was a strategy game today, and myself and Alex were able to work together quite well, like we usually can do, and come out with a 1-2 in the last race.
Indeed, and I suppose with the form, especially that we saw from you guys at the end of the season here, it will it'll probably give you a good leg up coming into next season when it comes around. How are you feeling about the season as a whole?
Finishing off the series, it's kind of sad. Throughout the whole thing, it was such a blast. At all times, there was a top five battle that was worth clipping on Instagram and stuff like that. No matter what, it was always clean racing, great group of drivers to race around, and the Radical always produces such close and tight racing that like I always have a smile on my face the whole time I'm driving, whether I'm in fifth or leading or anything like that. It's just such a joy.
Yeah, indeed. Fantastic stuff from you today, Christian. And, well, some great successes for you in 2025 and 2026 here at BIS Sim Leagues. Hopefully, we're seeing you again very soon for the next series that BIS holds, likely the IndyCar Championship coming up next. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Mhm. Thank you guys for hosting again. All the drivers really appreciate it, and congrats to Racine for the championship. It'll be fun to see him in Radical.
Yeah, for sure. Well-earned prize indeed. Christian Moniz and Alex Ellis from Satellite Racing. Christian, you can stay in the box if you like. Just make sure that your mic is muted. Someone who needs to unmute their mic is Cara Dudgeon, who stood by with Daniel Zippy Salmon. Some great results today.
Well, I gotta say, Cara, it's been a long time coming, but your first podium here in BIS, you did it in the sprint race, and certainly I've been saying this for a long time. You are without a doubt a young and upcoming prodigy here, not just that, doing it for the ladies as well. Certainly, how on earth did you manage to get a P3 in that sprint race? Because don't get me wrong, I managed to do it once, but the strength of field back then was certainly not to the same caliber. And I do remember watching Alex Ellis absolutely fly by me. And as he does, the number 50 driver, very much good at that. But Cara, tell us how you did it, what you did to prepare, and indeed what we can look forward to you in the future here with your racing career.
Yeah, I did the Academy series on Mosport as well, so that was all my practice. Then I went and did a practice session yesterday with everyone. Did a bit of passing practice because the passing is very different. And yeah, I just kept my cool, tried to make people make mistakes, and yeah, that's what I did.
I gotta say, it all sounds so very relaxed when you put it like that, but don't be mistaken, ladies and gentlemen. That is indeed an incredible achievement, indeed. Certainly, but not many drivers have managed to get a podium here at BAS, and certainly that Cara as well. On the, you still have a lot of life left to live. We'll phrase it like that, and able to compete with people as the Alex Ellis, I think, would describe as a little bit more senior. I think we'll put it like that. He's feeling particularly old at this point. He's a father, don't get me wrong, but certainly he's somebody you keep an eye out. And certainly, I do have to wonder as well, are we going to be seeing you in a real race car anytime soon? Certainly, I would love to, but is that an opportunity that we're going to be seeing again happen soon?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping so because I got the championship again in Academy. So I'm going to get a test in the car, but I'm not sure about moving from karts to cars yet. I don't really know what's going on, but I'd really hope to get in a race car soon.
Well, certainly, Cara, we are indeed going to be keeping an eye out for you. And indeed, if you're at Victoria Day Speed Fest, I plan on being there. Another person I'd love to meet, shake your hand and congratulate you on such a outright performance. Indeed, you've been doing this for, you've been doing go-karts, but indeed in the sim quite new and miles quicker than me. Certainly a good name to keep an eye on. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. One of the younger drivers in the field, but don't be mistaken, incredibly potent behind the wheel. Ladies and gentlemen, the driver of the 305, it's Cara Dudgeon getting her first ever podium here at BIS.
Thank you
Lovely
so
stuff.
much.
Indeed. Awesome job from Cara Dudgeon today. And, well, I think it may be time to get into the champions, into the transfer room. It looks like we can confirm that Jesse Lambert is your AM class champion for the 2025-26 Winter Series season. Jesse, you needed to perform today, and you were able to seal it with a double top 5 with a few positions in between yourself and your closest AM class rivals. It must feel good to get that dub.
Yes, sir. My heart is beating so freaking fast. As everyone knows, it was winner takes it all. So it all came down to the line, and everything aligned perfectly. Did a lot of practice for this race, and I had a points deficit being third in the championship before the last race at Brazil. I did everything so that the race down there went perfectly, and it did also down here. So yeah, it feels freaking amazing, and it helps so much. Like, I can't believe I get a test day in the race car now. I'm trying to race in Fel Motorsport. It's real life Radical Cup Canada this season, so having a free test in the car goes a long way.
Yeah, certainly does. It's a massive step up, and it may indeed make it a little easier to get into the real World Series. Jesse, you ended up also having some assistance from Racine Fazui over the course of this night of racing. You two were drafting very nicely in race 2, so that was also another benefit. Teamwork has played a big part in getting this title as well.
Yes, sir. Very lucky to have him on my side. You know, helped me a lot because, you know, he in a way kind of already secured.
You lose him
It
as
would
well, just
appear
then.
we may
Yeah.
have lost Jesse Lambert, unfortunately. We'll make sure to bring him back in when his connection improves. But our congratulations to Jesse Lambert. It was a fantastic season from him and a well-deserved AM class champion for sure. Zippy, I understand you've caught up with our newly crowned pro class champion.
Well, I would like to say that I'm surprised, but no, Rasim, you are an absolute weapon. Indeed, I think the Stig needs to be taking a few lessons from yourself, indeed. And I've got to say, it definitely wasn't a season without challenges. Certainly having some good battles throughout the season. I think today you had that bit of a points advantage, and I think that was definitely beneficial, not having to fight as hard, but certainly throughout the season, it's been a challenge. And indeed, you've managed to come out on top. What would be your highlights? And actually, before we get to your highlights, what are you feeling right now? What's your emotion? Because certainly seeing you in a real race car, the whole world is waiting for this at this point. We want to see exactly how quick you're going to be.
I just want to start by saying, hello everyone. Yes, it's been a very very competitive season. Very challenging season. I've trained decent amount for it. Um, Most definitely everybody in the series brought their A game this year, and everybody just keeps improving and improving, race after race. Um, I just knew that approaching this race, I had to play the long game. I did the math and the points. I needed a top 10 in the first one, top 10 in the second, and I was good. So in the sprint, I just let it play out. I didn't think I'd finish where I finished, and it was definitely very good for the points. I think I pretty much sealed it after a sprint. And then the feature I started right around Jesse, so I was like, you know what, let me help him if I can. But also didn't want to compromise anybody else's race, so I wasn't about to block or unnecessarily defend. And he sealed the deal and brought it home too. So very happy for the Lima boys. Championships of both the M and the Pro. Uh, and I'm looking forward to driving this car at a real life track. But just like I said, I do not like Mosport.
Well, certainly, I believe that beggars cannot be choosers. Don't get me wrong; you didn't beg; you earned that spot in that race car. And indeed, I'm very much looking forward to it. And indeed, I'm looking forward to actually meeting you at Victoria Day Speedfest as well, ladies and gentlemen. The flight is booked, the hotel is booked, and thankfully, Cedric is going to be helping me get to and from the track a bit as well. I've got to say, nothing but love for the Lima Racing guys, or indeed, as they're now under a new umbrella. Certainly, Racine, if you want to, why don't you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, it's under Tag One Motorsports. We have about 6 cars. It's gonna be a big deal, big organization. We have a lot of stuff that I can't say we have because you guys will see it when you see us on track and you'll go, whoa! Like, it's very impressive. When I saw the pictures and the renders and all this stuff, I was like, okay, this is the big deal. So I'm quite stoked. Of course, Alex Tagliani, legend. Uh, who doesn't know his name if you know motorsports, especially in Canada? And just to do a second year with the Lima boys, Cedric, John, Polo, and all the guys, Yona, um, John, Pick, sorry. Um, yeah, I'm probably forgetting a few people. I'm so sorry, guys. Shout out Brady too. Although I don't think he's racing with us, but just want to give a special shout out to him because he is in our hearts as the Lima Racing team. But yeah, it's gonna be a big umbrella of Tag One Motorsports, 6 cars running the AFL season, and I'm very happy to be part of it.
I gotta say, I don't blame you in the slightest. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Indeed, I had the pleasure of meeting Alex Tagliani when he came down to Atlantic Motorsport Park, and Matthew Sadakis Tribbett. If you've not heard of him, he actually used to present, I believe it's CSGO or CSSGO. I'd like to say I knew which one it was, but certainly he presented those, traveled all over the world doing it. And indeed, he is quick behind the wheel. And sadly, Tagliani's BMW decided to be a BMW, and it spat the dummy out. And Matt said, "Take my car." So indeed, we watched him go for the back of the grid, and certainly, without a doubt, the most entertaining race I got to call for our own local series. And indeed, that man can drive. It was we've very much been an understatement. And I got to meet his spotter as well. Absolutely fantastic gentleman. I believe his name was Colin.
Yes. That guy is
Love
very
that guy.
amazing. Yeah,
He
very
is
cool guy.
absolutely a wonderful guy. Certainly one of my favorite people I got to meet that weekend. But certainly, I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. But Rasim, before you do your shout outs, let me just remind you of the order you need to do. Remember the position of the dog. Okay. All right. You're good. I got you, bro. I got you, friend. Let it go.
All right. I'll start with the professionalism first. I want to give a shout out to Alex for winning the race and everybody else in the series. Clay, Christian, Ryan, Jamie, LeVay, who's done a few rounds, and everybody else who's raced this season. It's been pretty fun. I want to give a special shout out to Jesse for not being anywhere in the picture at the beginning of the season, that he decided to take some coaching with me, and I absolutely did not think that he would literally absorb my knowledge and become a sponge and almost gain a second from when he started at the beginning of the year. So I'm very proud of him. And I want to give a shout out to the Lima boys on and off the sim. I want to give a shout out to Tag and Tag One Motorsports, Albert, everybody. I want to give a shout out to VPX and IMSA. I want to give a shout out to my family, my brother, my girlfriend, my dog. I want to give a shout out to Pit Road Productions. Should I not forget? Special shout out to FEL Motorsports. It's big things coming this year. I can't wait to see who else is on there, because a few things changed for the much better this year, including the price pool is very, very interesting. Am I forgetting anyone? Pretty sure that I am. And Advanced Sim Racing, of course, one of the sponsors of the series. And yeah, thank you, everyone.
Well, I'm just going to point out, it's nice to know that the dog outranks Pit Road Production, but indeed, I get it. The girlfriend might not be upset with you, but indeed, I might be. But don't get me wrong, we'll talk about that. Indeed, good racing there. Rasim, it's been an absolute pleasure. Certainly, you are a man of incredible pace, definitely laid back, and indeed, a very talented individual, not just behind the wheel, but behind the setup as well, and indeed, as a driver coach. So certainly, credit where due. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for your BIS Pro Class Champion, the Radical Canada Cup Winter Series. It's Rasim Vazui for Lima Racing Pro.
Thank you, everyone. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Yeah, very well done from Rasim Fazui indeed. And we'll have time for just one more chat here with Ryan Otto, the winner of the first race today. Ryan, your form at the end of the season has been nothing short of fantastic. Getting the dub in race one, I'm sure that you've got some great momentum in that car and you're looking to carry that forward.
Yeah, I mean, the first half of the season, I feel like I was in a bad mental headspace and wasn't performing at all. Was spitting on lap one and not doing good at all. And then as the season has progressed, I've been able to control that a little more and be able to put up these performances. But personally, I think it's just getting used to the series and these drivers. And after that, I've been able to perform at almost the level that I want myself to be at.
Well, I'm sure the next time Radical comes around, you're going to be right up there as well. And in the off season, are you going to be putting any further practice in, or are you going to be diversifying your portfolio a little, racing in a few other categories?
I will be driving a little bit on LMP2, but what I'm mostly going to be doing is the other Radical series, Radical Sim Racing series, and there's a lot of fast guys in there, so that will be what I'm doing in the off season for this series, and then we'll see what happens.
All right, well, we certainly wish you the best of luck in that, Ryan. Congratulations on your win in race one, and hopefully we're chatting to you again soon. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
Ryan Otto there, the winner of the first race today. And Zippy, we're waiting for a moment to see if Mike Broomhead's going to join us for a chat, but just a little bit of reflection on the season that we've just had. I mean, both this and F1600 have been nothing short of spectacular, haven't they? Some incredible racing through both of these main series.
Well, not just that, we also picked up a new season under the BIS umbrella, F1200 as well. Formula Bs, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, BIS is growing. And not only that, the community is growing, and indeed the drivers' talents are growing as well. We've seen some drivers come in here, and don't get me wrong, they've been competent, but indeed they've got ever faster. Jessie Lambert, a good example of that as well. Certainly Carol Dudgeon as well. She's definitely come on leaps and bounds, and indeed it's been an absolute pleasure. And honestly, this is one of my saddest times of the year, ladies and gentlemen. I love being here for BIS, and indeed Pit Road Productions honestly came to fruition purely because we needed somewhere to put BIS, and indeed it's been here and it will always be here. Certainly, as well as we got somebody here in the FPL chat saying that they live out at Mosport, and indeed they said, "Yeah, I'll see you in May." So certainly, I don't know who you are, but keep an eye out for more Pit Road Production shirt at the Victoria Day Speed Fest. Indeed, that will be giving me one hell of a giggle. But I gotta say, Reese, we'll do some thank yous here. Certainly a huge thank you to FPL Motorsports as well. It's been good to get to know some of the guys over there. Certainly Sam, especially. These guys are absolutely rocking it with Instagram. I need to learn how you guys do that. Certainly Instagram is a program. I'm very much a novice, and indeed, if you do know how Instagram works, by all means, try and educate me on that, because there's a whole platform of opportunity there that I would like to explore. Indeed, a huge thank you to those guys for doing such fantastic clips. Lima Racing social media side as well, and indeed Lima Racing themselves, certainly Cedric and John, helping us out and, providing a car for these drivers to have that test session in is absolutely incredible, certainly. And it's pretty brave as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're going to see them in the sim, but, not all drivers can translate the sim to reality. But certainly everyone we've seen, it's been absolutely incredible. Indeed, we can't forget the drivers, ladies and gentlemen. We must have had probably 50, 60 people involved in these 2-3 seasons, maybe even more than that. And I've got to say, it's absolutely great. We love having you in here. And indeed, for the majority, all very respectful, all very well behaved, and indeed some good banter, some friendships, and some rivalry along the way. It's been a pleasure, but we cannot forget as well, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Reese Gardner on my right. The absolute legend, a voice of Pit Road Productions, no doubt. And behind the scenes, Christian Hill, who I have a feeling has hidden his camera on this occasion. Christian, if you got it, flaunt it, buddy. Let's see you there waving to the camera. We'll give him a few minutes to put his makeup on. Certainly the makeup department here is non-existent. And then not only that, you've had the I don't know if pleasure's the right word. You tolerated my voice here, Daniel Zippy Salmon, certainly here. If you haven't done it already, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and indeed hit the share button as well. We want to see Pit Road Production going on even more platforms as well. How do you know? Fun fact: we actually had 60 viewers in a live broadcast at once the other day. 60, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the chat was busy and we loved it, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, Reese, you were absent for that one. That's okay. It's a new series. Keep an eye on that. Shop versus shop. But I've got to say, Reese, before I start getting all emotional and all sad that the fact that this brings the season to a close, any thoughts from yourself? Certainly not just for the RCC Winter Series for BIS, indeed FPL Motorsports, but certainly Pit Road Productions as a whole. By all means, let it fly, my friend. Let it fly.
I don't have much to throw, but I have folded a little paper plane that I'll cast across the room. This has been a great last 6 months or so. We've gained a lot of new shows, and we're building a solid community around these broadcasts. And we've been talking on and off about hosting a couple of special events, so potentially that may be in our future. For BIS, we're looking forward to the IndyCar series coming up later on in March. It's going to be a fantastic championship, and we're looking forward to bringing it to you. If you're interested in signing up, make sure to get your phone out and scan that QR code. That will take you to the BIS Sim League's Discord, which will provide you with information and everything regarding the IndyCar Championship to come. You'll be able to chat with the drivers that you've just seen on screen and get yourself in for the next season of racing. But Zippy, I understand it's just about time for us to wrap.
Yeah, we should probably be getting on with that. Indeed, anybody as well, if you have access to an IndyCar and you'd like to let us borrow it, by all means, let us know. Roman Grosjean, the French driver, learning something here, Reese. The French driver, I believe you've got one. By all means, reach out to us. We would love to get you not only in BIS, but indeed, we'd love to borrow your car. Christian Hill making the most sheepishly short appearance ever in the world of broadcasting. By all means, Christian, get back on screen, turn around, give the people a wave, take a bow even. Certainly, we'd love to see you back on screen. Again, so
There he is.
so casual, so leisurely. The enthusiasm coming out of that chair is absolutely astounding at times. You guys don't get to hear him in your ears, but certainly it's been an absolute pleasure. Indeed, as well, with us seeing IndyCar, there's also potentially talks of a BIS Endurance Series. Car choice could indeed be GT3s. It's not been decided yet, but if you want to have some influence on that, again, make your way over to that BIS Discord. And indeed, if there's any other series that you think you'd like to see, by all means, let us know. And we'd love to see it. If you do indeed have access to a real world race car and you'd like to see people compete to drive it, yeah, we'd love to hear from you too. By all means, the sky is the limit. But ladies and gentlemen, we should probably bring this show to a close. Again, a huge thank you to all the drivers, to Mike Broomhead especially for making this happen. He puts so much work into doing this show, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, behind the scenes, it's often underestimated. Dykins as well. Dakins Designs. Indeed, they did the Lane Racing paint. FEL Motorsport, certainly check out Radical Cup Canada. It's a real world racing series, and we're going to be there, ladies and gentlemen. Pit Road Productions will be there for Victoria Speed Fest. The flight is booked, the hotel is booked, and indeed, I'm ready to party. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you there. But certainly, that's it from us today. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me today in the commentary booth, the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner. Check out Southpaw Racer on YouTube to see his informative track videos, which I do believe have a bit of a extra spicy character as well. And by all means, Christian Hill as well. Definitely give him some love. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you very shortly on another Pit Road Productions broadcast, which, come to think of it, we've got WDCR Virtual Racing League tomorrow because of 911 Cup and GR86.